in the road this morning. Gonna see Rose Sasse. It's gonna be pretty cool. She's an awesome artist. She does a lot of plein air painting, you know, outdoors, scenes, villages. We're gonna hear about what she thinks about art, what she likes to do, and yeah, it's gonna be a pretty cool day. So stay tuned.
Studio. Come on in, make yourself at home. I'm working on this portrait of a little boy here, but you can come on in and we'll talk art.
What medium do you like to paint in?
Oh, well, my favorite medium is right here. What I did this morning, which was oil painting. I love oil paints. I love the creaminess of them. I love the colors. I love the shine. And I think maybe what I love most of all is that any mistakes you make are fixable.
Okay, sure.
It's forgiving. But I love the feel of it. You know?
Okay.
I often will paint in pasta, which means straight out of the tube. So it's almost the consistency of toothpaste. You can see it doesn't run off the palette at all. It's there, it's where you put it. And then it almost has the feel of being pushed around the canvas.
Right.
Which you know as you oil paint as well. So it's that thickness, that solidness I really enjoy.
Do you paint in layers then? Do you like add layer on top of layer on top of layer?
It depends on the painting. It depends on the painting. So with my abstract work, it can be layered if there's different moods involved. With realism, yes, definitely layers. So there's the bottom layer, which is kind of a drawing in stage, and then the blocking in stage. This guy had, I want to say 4 layers.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long does a painting like that take?
Oh, that's such a hard question to answer.
It took a lifetime up until this moment.
That's right. Picasso, right? Start to finish took about 6 months.
Right.
But it's not 6 months of working. You do the layer, let it dry, do the next layer. The beginning sessions, I would spend about 1 day per layer, and then as we get into the later stages, I'm doing the details up to a week of working just on that 1 layer. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot of work.
The little details.
Right, you gotta love it, right?
Well, it's a different style. Sometimes that really bold, brash impasto with, you know, the palette knives is awesome, and that's what you're going for, those big fields of color. But I do like, especially with like the happy little tree motif, right? All the little tiny, and I love painting.
Yeah, I love
the happy little trees.
Yeah, I love it. It looks weird. It's amazing.
And then in a composition like this, there is so much to enjoy. Like you get to play with the clouds. And I love to start in the sky. When I'm doing a landscape, I always start with the sky. I lived in Arizona for about 14 years.
Okay.
And if there's one thing Arizona is known for, it's its spectacular skies.
Nice.
So I always, that's my most comfortable place to start, to go to get grounded by going to the sky. So I like to start there, and of course all the beautiful foliage. I love painting, I love trees. Who doesn't love trees?
Trees are great.
Right? But the cityscape in here gives some really good contrast, because you've got the straight lines and the right angles. And then of course you got some water, so this had it all. Betolz in the Fall has it all.
Nice.
So that's what this title is, Betolz im Herbst in German.
So where'd you paint that one?
This is painted at Schliersee, which is an alpine lake a little bit south of here. And it was New Year's Eve, so actually almost at midnight. And the weather was clearing just in time for them to have their fireworks. So we were watching across the lake, and it was this gorgeous winter
Really
weather.
love the purples in it.
Yeah. That's how I see dark. Almost always my eye interprets darkness as purple. And I'm not sure what that's for, if that's because purple's my favorite color, so that's my default, but gotta get the purple in there when it's dark.
I think your work is amazing.
Thanks.
I really enjoy it. And how long you been painting?
I consider like the start of my professional career in about 2009, like when I had my first kid.
Okay.
Because I used to sing.
All right.
And when I had my first kid, I quit singing.
Okay.
And still needed like a creative outlet.
Right.
So I got more into painting, and a friend bought like a painting for me, and I was like, now I'm an artist. So, I should pull it out actually. I have my little school book from when I was a kindergartner, and my mom wrote in, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I'm like, write in artist. So it's always been a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what brought you to Germany?
We had the opportunity, and when I see an opportunity, I say, let's jump, you know?
Yeah, it's beautiful here.
Why
It's
not?
picturesque, yeah.
A chance to go live in Europe? Are you
Right,
kidding?
right.
Be surrounded in the middle of the cultural center of the world, and a launching pad to get to anywhere else in the world. It was, I couldn't pass that up. So my husband was ready to come home. He had been in the States for 20 plus years. He was ready to go home, and I said, let's go. I'd always thought, wouldn't it be great if I could give my kids a chance to live outside of the States? Because when I was growing up, I got to live in Israel for 4 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I thought, I always thought it's so good for kids to see a different culture, whatever culture you're growing up in, just to actually live. Not even just visiting is good, but living is so much better, where you actually become part of the community.
Right.
And learn that there's other ways of thinking, there's other ways of doing things, there's other ways of talking, there's other ways of communicating. And of course, being bilingual is always a huge plus. So,
That's not so bad.
yeah. Well, I mean, not for me, obviously. Mein Deutsch is nicht so good.
Yeah, it's not so bad either, right?
But the kids are fully
Right.
fluent, and it's just been a fantastic opportunity. So
Okay.
definitely could
And-
not pass that up.
When you think about your paintings, what kind of story are you trying to tell about?
I think when I do abstract, it's definitely emotional. I'm coming from a place without words. You know, it doesn't even need translation. I couldn't translate it if you asked me to. Sometimes I try to come up with a word for a title, because
Okay.
that's useful when you're putting up a gallery that has not just untitled number 4,372. With the surrealism, I think the couple of pieces that I've done, that's where I'm being the narrator,
Okay.
where I have something I want to say, something that I want to either spur the viewer on to think, whereas with abstract, it's hands off. I've made this out of a place of my deepest emotional self, and you interpret it, you feel whatever you need to feel.
Okay.
And with surrealism, it's a little bit more, I don't want to say controlling, but there's a little bit more where I'm being the narrator. I'm trying to say a thing.
Okay.
However, with the realism, which is what I'm
Right.
doing most of right now, is postcards from my travels. It's
Okay.
just an expression of my appreciation of what I'm viewing, whether
Yeah, I
it's
really
a
enjoy your realism. I have to
person
say.
or a place or a still life. It's like, this is gorgeous. Look
Right.
at this gorgeous person, thing, place.
Right. I think I've seen you on Twitch. You make like mixed palettes and stuff on there. too.
Yeah,
That's pretty
yeah.
interesting.
I love that. And
Yeah.
that brings me back to, I think, what I love most about art, which is play.
Okay.
Art is play. And when I'm mixing, it kind of gets my creative wiggles out. I get to just, like today I painted, or I mixed a palette for portraits. So it was all flesh tones. I didn't even look at my reference photo. I was just playing, you know?
Right.
Because I knew flesh tones, right? Like, I'm gonna need some reds, I'm gonna need some yellows, I'm gonna need some pale stuff and some dark stuff. So I didn't really worry about trying to be exactly matching. It was just me playing with my palette knife.
Let's talk about portraits.
Let's talk about portraits. I love painting portraits. Getting to know the person through each little line and shape of their face is delightful for me. So I have been doing a lot more portraits lately as part of my journey through realism. And so I've been painting a lot of the people of this village that I'm living in right now.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah. Such a fascinating village, and it's just celebrated its 1,000-year anniversary.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes. So I thought, what better way to celebrate the village welcoming us here from America than to paint some of its people.
Oh, that's wonderful.
This is one of those paintings. This is a gal that lives here, actually in this neighborhood even. And I thought I would do some of her outside with her hair flowing and a big wide smile, but to start, I sat her in front of a window, kind of like a Rembrandt style lighting with that single light source, and of course it was winter time, so it was a kind of a subdued light, and it was just gorgeous lighting. I couldn't not paint it. So I had to paint this one with the profile and her gorgeous hair. She's a friseurin?
Hairstylist.
Yeah, hairstylist,
Right.
Exactly. And her hair was just so shiny and beautiful, so I had to.
It's a beautiful painting.
I knew this was the one that it had to be, so with that single light source. And she's gorgeous, so that makes it fun too. But I love painting all sorts of people. Of course, I paint my family members,
Right.
of course. And this one too. This is another gentleman that lives here in the village. And this was a commission. He requested that I put the date stamp on it because he has a portrait of his grandfather, I believe, and it doesn't have a date on it. So he requested, when you paint my portrait, could you please put the date on it so that we know for future generations where we were and what year. Okay, so I love to paint miniature paintings, usually about this size, which is about 10 by 15 centimeters or 4 by 6 in American sizes. And again, painting is the ultimate freedom, right? There's nothing freer or more free than a blank canvas. So when I paint minis, it's even more so because it's a small commitment. Whether it's for the buyer or for me, time-wise, it takes quite a bit less time to do a small piece than one of the larger pieces. There's no greater freedom than art.